Hi, everyone. I think we're going to get started because Alex has to be where in Port St. Lucie at 7 o'clock. And that's 7 o'clock 20 minutes ago, right? So, I'm Michael D'Angelo, if I haven't met you, the president of this august club. We're going to, after Alex speaks, we're going to be writing postcards. There's, sorry I got here late, we have petitions. If you haven't signed the constitutional petitions on expanding Medicaid and on the ban on assault weapons, we'll have a chance to do that afterwards. Let me turn it over to Alex now, okay?
Can everybody hear me? I'm an organizer, so I like to be loud and move my hands and move around a bit. So hi, my name's Alex. You can't hear me, really?
I can hear you, but you better speak louder.
Okay. I'm with the Florida Democratic Party. I'm the Community Engagement Director for Region 4, which means that I'm an organizer. Our current priorities are voter registration, which I'm sure everybody here has heard. Does everybody here remember the DEC?
Do we know?
Those who are.
Do you know?
Are you a precinct? If you're a precinct leader, you're a member of the
No.
Okay. Well, I would encourage you to participate. Come to the DEC because we like to let everybody know what it is that we're doing in the community, how we're reaching out, what our programs are, and how we're going to be successful next year in 2020. I do have to cut early, and I apologize for that. I have two phones because one's for work and the other one's for work. It's a joke I like to say because it's true, and I am all over the place. I organize in Palm Beach, St. Lucie, Martin, Indian River, and Okeechobee. And it's a big task that we have ahead of us, but we have everything that we need to be successful next year. We are anticipating 200,000 plus new registrations for next year's election. We are going to get those ourselves. Now, normally we do our voter registration through our the grassroots organizations, our charities and the nonprofits like League of Women Voters, Moms Demand Action, these groups, and they do a fantastic job. But they don't have the ability to be partisan the way we do as Democrats. They have to take all comers, and we do as well, but we have the ability to promote Democrats, and so we like to do that. So when we're out there talking to people, we like to let them know, say, hi, my name is Alex, I'm with the Democratic Party, and I'm here registering Democrats, can I get you registered? And Republicans don't really push the issue when we do that. They just assume that we won't take their registration even though we have to. So we try not to. We've got a big hill to climb, and we're going to climb it. I've mentioned, and I try to say this everywhere because I want everybody to be eyes wide open to what we have ahead of us. The Republicans are turning out at record-breaking numbers, but they are at capacity, and where they really are just going to tread water, which is about 80%, 81%. Now, the reason that is good, you haven't heard this because you don't come to the DEC meeting.
DW.
Well, the Democratic Women's Club is a workhorse, and thank you for that because they're awesome. And so I like to let people know that they are at that 80%, so we know what to expect from them. So we would know what we need to win, and we're going to get what we need to win. And part of what we're doing is to win is what you're going to be doing today. We started registration in all communities. We're establishing a Democratic presence in all communities. On the 4th of July, I was in the city of Pahokee running a voter registration event at the marina. And it was a successful voter registration event, but I have to tell you, resident after resident said they were just surprised to see the party out there. We're out there with our logos and our shirts, and they hadn't seen a Democrat in I don't know how long. And other people were there that did want to register as Republican, but they were going back to Bush with their justification for why they wanted to do so. And so this is what we're looking to fight. So we need to establish that presence in these communities. And so moving forward, we're going to be coordinating with the church there. We're going to be coordinating with the local football teams there because that is very big in these communities. And so we have Belle Glade, we have Pahokee, we have Waxahachie. We're going to be writing into these communities as a warmer for our efforts moving forward because we have volunteers that are going to start moving into these communities for consistent voter registration events. We have a lot of activity going in the North County, the South County. You guys are here. We know we have a tremendous energy here. We need to have a Democratic presence everywhere. Palm Beach County is massive, and we can't leave the vote anywhere. So I want to take just a couple questions, if anybody has any, before I get out of here. Yes?
What's the DEC?
So the DEC is the Democratic Executive Committee. I like anagrams because they're short, and I'm usually short on time. So it is the Democratic Executive Committee, and that is the local volunteer organization of the Democratic Party in Palm Beach County. Every county has one, all through Florida. We have 67 counties in Florida, and I misspoke because we only have 57 DECs in the 67 counties. Boo on us, we're working on that though. We're working on developing them. One of my counties is Okeechobee, and their DEC, we have 3 times the number in this room of people that attend the DEC meeting there. But I tell you, their DEC meetings are some of my best to go to. I love being there with their people. They value each other. The energy is high. They keep their heads high. They're Spartans. They're surrounded by Republicans. They're outnumbered 2-1. And if I could figure out how to get cows to vote, we'd be in business out there. You have to go a country mile to find another Democrat. But they travel that country mile and they find more Democrats. And every meeting I go to, there's new faces. Anybody else? Yes, Miss.
Have you heard anything about the new voting process?
So the new voting machines are actually spectacular. I'm waiting on, I have the ballot, I have the sample ballot, it's a very fun ballot, and I'll be creating some educational materials around that. I'm waiting to get a copy of the new envelope that's coming. They're redesigning it. They're looking to add a signature and phone line. I'm sorry, the signature, like email and phone line. So that way if they need to contact you, they'll have that right on the envelope. I'm going to be using that as well. So I'm waiting for them to finish that process. And then that'll be part of an educational campaign that we'll be pushing out through 2019 and into 2020. The new voting machines are bubbles, not heads and tails anymore. You don't even need to fill the whole bubble in. If you put an X, just so long as your X didn't touch another bubble in the same category, the machine will still register it. The machine will let you know if you've made a mistake. The ballots are smaller. I believe next year we're going to be having postage paid vote by mail. The commission has indicated they'll pass it. They have it in the budget. It's in the budget. So the money is there for it. The commission has indicated that they will. We have 6 of the 7 commissioners, I believe. So that should be passed. It's just not passed yet. So next year we're going to have smaller ballots, easier to fill out, more educated and higher IQ voter base on the process, and then we're going to have postage paid VBMs. So that, I'm really excited.
Will there be any automated follow-up on who has sent in their ballot or hasn't sent it? We're talking about VBM. Is there any, I mean, we shouldn't have to be calling people to find out if they're sending in their ballot. That should come automatically from Board of Elections. Are there any?
I don't know about that. That would be under the Board of Elections if that's something that they would do. That's not something that I would have control over. But I got to tell you, I like to do things personally, and so I'm going to find out whether or not you've returned your ballot. And if you haven't, you're going to hear from me, Dave. And then I'm going to be at your door, Dave. And then I'm going to be at your door, Dave. And send in your ballot, Dave. And I'll stop coming. And that's usually how I get them to mail in their ballots.
Well, the follow-up to that is, and I had this experience in 2018, where people didn't know whether their ballot, the BBM got bounced because of the signature mismatch. I went down and I made sure, I handed it in and I said, check it, make sure. And one of the people that I was following up on, said, I sent it in. Well, you can look to see whether they've sent it in or not. You can look online, and his got bounced. And he had no idea, and I called him, and he went down and he cured it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we need some kind of follow-up on that, because people, even though they tell you they sent it in, doesn't mean the ballot got counted.
That's true, and that's something that they're supposed to follow up on. The supervisor of election is supposed to follow up on. Now, that would be a Herculean effort on our behalf to try to do that, because we actually broke a record very recently, and we have exceeded over 400,000 registered Democrats in Palm Beach County for the first time ever. And so a large majority of our voting base votes by mail. So that is, to follow up on that on a case-by-case basis is just, it's not something that we would be able to do. The supervisor elections is supposed to do.
No, and they do. I mean, I think they do, but whether the people that got it bounced, he might have gotten an email and just not seen it.
Yeah,
You
you never know. And this is why we like to try to get, when we do the registration, we like to get phone numbers. We like to get emails, because they will contact you. And I do hear cases here and there where, and they're mostly isolated, where people didn't get contacted. But for the most part, they will reach out to you, and that's why they have that information on there. Yes, Miss.
Do you know if those of us who stand outside the polls stand 150 feet rather than 100 feet?
So I believe it has been changed to the 150. They'll probably try to put us in the middle of the highway if they can. But, we're gonna see what happens with that. We have our voter protection department working on it. If everybody didn't know, we are the first state in the nation to have a full-time, every day of the year voter protection department. They suppress our vote and they break the laws at this point. They're openly breaking the laws to suppress our vote. So we're gonna fight for it every day of the year, not just right before the election. Miss, yes?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about how secure these new, units are.
The new machines create a paper trail. The new machines they're about as secure as we can get them. I gotta say that the supervisor of elections has been very transparent so far as to the process and what they're intending to do. They've been very public with demonstrating the machines, how they work, keeping people informed on the new processes moving forward, and making themselves available to the community if there were any questions. So I am cautiously optimistic. We will see. Yes.
Do you have a sense about the new supervisor election since my woman was kicked out?
Sense in regards to her
Functioning, have you met her? Do you have a
I've
sense
met
about
her. She seems to call balls and strikes.
Meaning?
Meaning she calls it as it is. She does seem to be a straight shooter. Again, cautiously optimistic. Everybody's great until the moment they're not great.
Right.
And that's how things tend to be. And it's easy to be great when nothing's on the line. And right now nothing's on the line. So again, cautiously optimistic. I'm gonna hope for the best because I like to stay positive, and we're gonna win, one way or another. Even if she tries to rig it, we're gonna have to burn ballots. We're gonna be passing so fast. Yes.
She spoke at another club that I went to, and we were very impressed with her. She seems like a very competent.
She does. She really does. Again, as I've said, everyone's great until they're not.
And she's
So
now an
I'm not trying to slam anybody. I'm just saying, again, cautiously optimistic that we will have a fair process. And so I'm hoping for that.
The former vice chair of RBC, DeAndre Gould, he's running against, we're trying to get signatures to put him on the ballot, and if he gets on the ballot next year, one of the reasons I've heard that she's being so good, or seeming so good, is that she knows she was appointed by a Republican governor, and she's in a strong Democratic area, and so she's got to look good, or she's going to lose.
Well, I don't want to go too far into opinion and speculation, especially on the character of anybody. So if we have any other questions on voter registration, I'll take one more because I have got to fly.
The suppression, is that?
I'm sorry?
The suppression, is that just for election day?
Voter protection department? No. No. So right now, I've been working with the supervisor of elections in all the counties in my region because I'm extra proactive. And I get my own information from them, and now I'm getting pushback from them. Because on July 1st, the new bill, House Bill 281 was passed. It went into effect July 1st, and certain people are now exempt from public information requests. And so, yeah, I know, that's what I said too. Sucks to be me. So I make these drives up there to not get my data. Yay. And so that's one of the things that we're fighting for. That's what Brandon does. His name is Brandon Peters. He is the director of our voter protection department. And these are all the many ways in which they look to make things more difficult for us. And that is his job. That is what we do, and that's why we have him. That's why it's incredibly important to support the party, to support the DECs, to support our clubs, our caucuses, and to stay active. We have to be strategic, we have to be intelligent, and we need to have an urgency. Because we are not going to win without effort. Right now, that effort is building, and it's already proving to be a success. We should be 4th in Florida. We're 2nd in Florida, and we're like 43 registrations behind being number 1 in Palm Beach County. So we are killing it, and we're going to continue to do so. And that's how it is. We're going to win. And we're going to win because we're working hard. Because all of you are coming here. All of you are going to continue to come. You're going to continue to be involved. You're going to continue to be supportive. And we're going to win. So accept that into your heart because that is going to be reality. So I have got to fly, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming out. Right there, there's about 200 there.
Okay.
First song ever accused is Something in Me. You just said it. Do you know the show?
I don't, but
Oh
I'm
my
going to Google
God,
it.
you gotta see it.
I'm going to Google it. Good night, everybody.
That's good. So, Okay, I'd like to introduce Maria Sachs and then Jim Bonfiglio. Maria is a former state senator from time.
How are you? Thank you very much. I cannot talk as fast as Alex Monica. I can't say my name as fast as he does. But he does a wonderful job because he's going to make sure that everybody here votes, but most importantly, that every vote counts. I think we vote hard, and I think a lot of us vote, but I'm not sure if every vote counts. And the more I hear about what was going on in Fort Lauderdale and Broward County when it came to votes for our Senator Nelson, the more I get concerned. So we've got to make sure, not only do we all register, but that we keep an eye on what's going on in Tallahassee, is making sure that every vote counts. Because until then, we know, 10 years I was in Tallahassee, and it never got better. It never got less Republican. And it was always a fight, and I like to hear the word fight, because I've been a Democrat my whole life, and all I know is that I've been fighting my whole life. And you know what? That's okay, because I'm sort of a confrontational person. I am. So it kind of makes me feel good, you know? My kids say, Mom, when you don't go to court or you don't go up to the Senate, you kind of get a little nasty at home. I said, that's all right. I feel better now, because I want to fight, and this, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Democrats, there is no more important election.
Yes.
Right? There is no more important election. I get goosebumps just thinking about what's coming up. So let's listen to Alex. Thank you for having him here. Just to let you know, I started here. This is my precinct. My office was right down the road, and right off of Martin Luther King Boulevard. And I started here, and Ann Gannon showed me, and we were just wonderful together. And everybody here helped me so much, especially here in Pompey Park and Delray Democrats. You know, it was always D. Boca Raton for the Senate seat. And Ted Deutsch always had D. Boca Raton, and I took his seat when he went on to Congress. So I said, I'm looking at this map, Ted, and I said, I kind of see a lot of Delray here. He said, Maria, do what you want. I like that guy. I like any man to do what you want. So I said, I'm going to change it. I'm going to put it Maria Sachs, D. Delray Beach. And that's the way it was. It was always Maria Sachs, D. Delray Beach. So I'm going to let you in on a little something that's coming up. I am most likely going to file for a county commission seat that will be open in 2020. And this is the first meeting that I have actually said. And so I will be filing pretty soon. And I'll be making the big announcement in early September. And you all will hear about it. I'd like to have you there. We're going to have a celebration at the South County Civic Center the first week in September. And I want you all there. It's an open seat, and I think I'm going to throw my hat and run, because I just like getting things done. There's an old saying, the busier you are, the more you get done. And I'm ready to get back into the fray, and I'm ready to take what I learned from Tallahassee and bring it here. Bring it back home again. Bring it back to my home. And so I want to thank you very much. Where I started, right here, in this club. I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak, and you'll be seeing more of me. You know who I am. I'm Maria Sachs, and I'm always here for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jim, as probably most of you know, lost his House seat by 32 votes, okay, or lost the race. We're going to be writing tonight postcards to some of the people. You have the list. Some of the Democrats, there were 500 of them,
500
that were registered and didn't vote because it was the midterm, okay? Now, maybe some of them aren't alive. Maybe they moved. You know how the voting records are. But surely there were 33 people that could have voted, and Jim would have been in Tallahassee. So, Jim, take it away.
Hi, most of you know me. I'm Jim Bonfiglio. former mayor of Ocean Ridge. So when I go to Tallahassee for District 89 in November 2020, I'll have Jim Bonfiglio be Ocean Ridge next to my name, not Boca or Del Rey. Ocean Ridge is a small community south of Manalapan on the intercoastal. I agree with Maria. We need to make sure that everybody's vote counts. I fought very hard during the recount in November to make sure every registered voter who cast a ballot in District 89 got the vote count. I had to sue the Secretary of State to make sure everybody's vote got counted. We went into the manual recount down 37 votes, and I picked up 5 during the recount, so I lost by 32. The point is, we need to get these voters out. We need to get them registered. We need to get knock on doors. I've got people here that are going to ask you to sign my petition, get on the ballot this time around. But when I go to Tallahassee, I like to say I'm the District 89 representative waiting, because essentially when you lose a seat by 32 votes out of a total of 83,000 ballots were cast, 80,000 were counted in the district. It's essentially a tied race, and I lost the flip of the coin. That's how I look at it. So this is going to be the #1 seat that the Democrats are going to target for 2020, and I'm the #1 candidate that they want to run in the seat. I've got endorsements from a number of the House leadership and the county delegation, Lois Frankel, for example, Jenny is one of the House leaders, Emily Schlossberg, Dave Silvers. These are some of the folks that have endorsed my candidacy. So I'm looking forward to a year and a half of campaigning and knocking on doors. I like to say shaking hands and kissing babies. So you'll be seeing a lot of me in the next year, in about 4 months, 6 months. And if you want to volunteer, give me a call. We can use people to knock on doors. I'm starting going around now, knocking on doors to get people to sign my petition. And if you want to help, give me a call. Again, Jim Bonfiglio, State House District 89. Thank you so very much for letting me speak.
Thank you. So, we're going to get started, and it's going to take a little time to set up the postcards back there. The other thing we wanted to talk about is, and I have a sign-up sheet here somewhere, for committees. When we resurrected this club about a year and a half ago, right after Trump won, we had committees, and we need people to get out on the street once a week, Swinton and Atlantic, with a banner, Democratic Club of Delray Beach. Just takes 3 people. Hand out our newsletter, hand out flyers, meet people. So a lot of traffic down there, and it's fun. But that's the most important committee. We need people for a program committee to help develop future programs, like Alex appearing, where in August we're working on the Haitian American experience. There's a huge Haitian community off of Lake Ida that we should be getting more votes from. We need people that will help with media outreach. There are, newspapers here. We should be getting press releases out about these meetings. I've done some of that, but really what we need is people on a committee with the head of a committee that can organize that. So what I'm going to do is, on the tables where we'll be writing the postcards, put out these sheets where you can volunteer if you're interested for a community outreach committee, a media outreach, or a newsletter committee, the program committee, and then we're calling it the resistance committee. Those are the people that are going to get out on the street, meet people, hand stuff out. Also, Go to local offices. Jim, we heard, Dave and I went last week, or a couple of weeks ago, to the city commission, and Caruso came to speak. And, you know, they were slobbering all over him. Thank you so much for telling us what's going on, you know, in the last session. And he had the gall to stand there and talk about all of the money that they're spending on health care. Well, you've got 840,000 Floridians who could qualify for the Medicaid expansion that would cost Florida nothing at the end of the day. And, I mean, it was not my place to get up and ask them that, but another postcard event where we're going to do, we're writing to DeSantis tonight and asking him why he doesn't take the free federal money, you know, why he is, you know, 8,000 or so Floridians will die every year because they don't have health insurance. I mean, that's what's going to happen, and the only reason that they're not doing it is because they don't want government to look like it does anything good, you know, and especially if it's Democrats that have, you know, passed the bill. So we'll put this stuff out, and I guess we'll start now. Oh, actually, Susan wanted to say a few words too. Sorry.
Okay, very quickly, my name is Susan Berkowitz-Schwartz. I created a holiday called All People's Day. The only reason I'm spelling it is people think I'm saying old people. It's really all people, it's for every group. And we have a festival here every year. We just had our 10th festival. We had 800 people coming. And anyway, so there's a lot happening every month leading to the next festival, which is about connecting people through the arts, because the arts touch people's hearts. And if you're interested, every month, free, and the festival is free too, at Conway Park. We have a program, an arts program, where people meet people from different cultures and do arts projects that are specifically about learning about each other and having fun together. So people will learn about each other. So you can find out about that. But All People's Day is doing something special. We are applying for a grant from Welcoming America. Some of you may know what Welcoming America is, about welcoming immigrants. Of course, we all know about the horrible situation going on with immigrants now. So one of the things we're going to do is on Welcoming Week, if we get the grant, and we put in for it today, by the way, we will have people coming to our meetings. We will be making a mural possibly on one of the schools. We're still developing. And this is what the mural will approximately look like, with an American flag, and you see people of different colors, okay, with their arms crossing their hearts, holding hands, hoping for peace and understanding in the world, which is the symbol of All People's Day. And on their clothing, people will be painting small flags from their culture or the culture of their ancestors' culture of origin. And you see a few flags here, but there'll be many. So if anybody is interested in possibly working on this mural with us, you can also sign up with me. You can sign up to be on my email list and learn about all this stuff. The mural will be painted, I hope, from September 16th to 22nd, someday in there, probably during the day. So sign up with me if you're interested in All People's Day.
What's the date for next year?
What?
Is it should be in April? What's the date?
The festival will be March 21st. It's always a Saturday, and it's the 21st next year, right here.
Randy's need to know.
What are we doing now?
Thank you.
You have a sign-up sheet we can put on the table there?
Okay.
We'll stick it out on the tables, but in a minute, we're all going to go
sit at tables and write postcards.
About what? Tell us what?
Yeah, there are at least three, but we may not get to all three. The first one is to, and Alex didn't go into this, the low-hanging fruit. There are a lot of people moving into Florida from blue states that have voted Democrat their entire life, you know. I was very excited when we came from New York, because I said, my vote is going to count for the first time, and it did. But the first election, Scott was reelected in 2014. The second, Trump was elected, and Rubio was reelected. And then last year, you know, Gillum lost and Nelson lost. So I mean, or lost, or the votes were stolen. Who knows? But anyway. We have a list from Alex of people who fit into that category of new arrivals that are in gated communities. So his volunteers can't go door to door, so they'll get a nice postcard from us. We have a sample script here: greetings, neighbor and fellow Democrat, welcome to the Sunshine State. And, you know, you can write what you want. This is just something suggested. The last line is, for help with getting registered, please contact Alex. And you have the email address. Then there's the postcard to the people that helped Jim not win last time. That just says in the midterms, Democrat Jim Bonfiglio lost his race for the seat by 32 votes. Our records show that you were registered but did not vote. When Democrats turn out, we win. When we don't, we lose. 2020 is too important an election to lose. Please be sure to vote. And then,
Yeah, if I could just interject on that. So that script we'll be using to send postcards, hopefully if not tonight, over time, to each and every one of the 585 Democrats on these 50 pages. These 585 Democrats live in either Delray Beach or Gulf Stream. These 585 Democrats voted in 2012, 2014, and 2016, and somehow the idea of voting managed to slip their mind on election day 2018.
or they
So,
did.
or they did, but not 585 people. I have a pretty strong suspicion that we can fill that 32 vote gap by reawakening these, as many of these 585 people as we can with a postcard. So we just want to welcome them home and get them back in the voting process.
I have a comment about dialogue.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm on almost every Democratic site, Citizen United, blah, 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 blah,
Sure.
at home. Sometimes they try to guilt me. You have to be careful about the dialogue.
Okay.
A sentence I just heard made me a little uncomfortable.
Right. So, all fair. So, you know, what
We have to be very careful about what you
and you know what? The writer of the postcard should certainly choose words. We're not force feeding these scripts. You know, if you want to express yourself, you know, kind of getting the point across that we need them to come home and we need their help, but to use the language of your choice by all means, absolutely. Because we want it to be personal too. We want it to come across as personal. So, you know, totally fair point you mentioned.
No, but the sentence you haven't, we got to get a point across exactly that they haven't voted. But we have to think about how we mention that to them.
Okay.
And not feel like guilt.
Real deal.
Yes.
That's right. Sometimes I get an email, Susan hates you, Democrats or something like that.
Guys, one line, please.
It's true.
Yeah.
Something positive is
Yeah,
good.
no, absolutely. Look, I see all good people in this room of all good intent, and every confidence in the world that you'll express yourself in a way that's not confrontational, not guilt-provoking, and so on. But again, the whole idea is to reawaken these folks and get them to come out and vote and hopefully send Jim to Tallahassee so we don't have to see him every month.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
So you're suggesting that everybody fill out this postcard to encourage people to vote next time so that we can flip the seat from blue, or excuse me, from red to blue. So we just want to make sure it's positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you guys could say something like that, because that's what it's all about in, on the national campaign, is flipping a red seat to blue. We came in within 32 votes. So this time with your support, we can make it over, you know, we can flip it and make this red seat blue.
Real quick, if anybody cares, what is one of the in Connecticut was amended like never before, to be asked.
Say it again?
One we used successfully, I think in Connecticut was, we were needed like never before.
Exactly. I would just love for that message to remain positive, because we don't want to turn anybody off. We want them to jump on our, we want them to jump on our train.
Okay, so everyone
Thank you.
can ignore what was written.
Unfortunately, that's my profession, so.
Yeah, no, that's, okay.
Are we stressing vote by mail?
We're not, I mean, you know, not specifically, one of the challenges is, it's a postcard, so we don't have a whole lot of real estate. So we need to kind of keep it, you know, brief and to a very limited number of subjects. If you could find a way to fit it in, not, you know, really go for it. But the main focus is a positive message to bring, you know, bring these voters, you know, back to the table, bring them back to the voting.
And we're gonna start out with the Alex's list. So we may not even get to, I think we're gonna try to do this every month. Because people seem to like it, you know, and it does get something done, you know. And whatever we don't do tonight, we'll bring the postcards and the
Right,
list back.
and by the way, you know, we, there's nothing that precludes any of you from, you know, if you want to take a, you know, a sheet home or 2 sheets home, whatever, and you want to make some phone calls, or you want to send postcards on your own, you know, of the same ilk, by all means, you know, we as active Democrats, as club members, as precinct leaders, and so on, we're the ambassadors. We are the goodwill ambassadors for the Democratic Party to the community at large. And, you know, I think each one of us can, in our own way, take up that mantle of leadership.
How are we signing off?
Okay.
How are we signing?
Your name?
Huh?
Right, I was gonna do that. Okay, here, look.
All right.
For those of you who haven't filled out a postcard in 50 years since summer camp, we don't have a picture on this one, so you have the entire 2 sides. If you do it as you please. Return address, yours, or mine.
Right.
I brought these things that clog my drawers at home.
Oh, that's a
So
good
I have pictures
idea.
of cats and dogs, I'm gonna smack them on. But the address, flip it over, write some words. We have stamps. And we called a couple of people to come to the meeting tonight. One of them said, gee, I'm sorry, we can't make it, but what is it about? And I explained what it's about, and they said, good, send me 50 postcards and I will fill them out. So, anybody feels like it? Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's get started. I think
Excuse me, I'll take 1 second. If anybody here resides in District 89, we need to come up with about 2,000 signatures to get Jim on the ballot for 2020. So if you live in 89, you feel like sending a petition to get him on the ballot, I appreciate it. I know a lot of you did it already.
Is Boynton Beach 89?
Yeah, east of 95